Here's Sang-Hoon Chin, far side circle, finds the Trevor, it's Sylvester, he scores! Oh, what a rocket from number 16. Not in front, pass save by Harmon. Lead from Mitswolinsky, he's in on a breakaway, he scores! The Cavalry is shot, stopped by Harmon. The rebound came out, and Harmon with the denial. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Atlanta Gladiators podcast from the Business RadioX studios. Liam Gotimer here, the Director of Broadcasting and Communications for the team. Alongside me is the Chief Revenue Officer, Steve Brown, and the Gladiators captain, Jacob Graves. Guys, how are we doing?
Liam, what's going on, my friend?
Nothing
Doing
much.
good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, each of you. And it's an exciting time for the Gladiators and the fans because we're 4-0-0 for the first time since 2007, 2008. Jacob, take me through this great start for the club.
I think we just got everyone buying in right now. Everyone's working hard, listening to the coach, keeping it simple. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. And Steve, from the business side and from the hockey fan side, I know you're a fan, so.
Yeah, no, off to a great start. We had a couple different records that we broke on opening night, especially with the amount of groups that we had come into the building. So, early on in the season for us as well, definitely working on a few things and continuing to make the fan experience the best that it can be. But couldn't ask for a better start both on and off the ice.
For sure. Jacob, you come back to the Gladiators this offseason. I got to ask, what is the allure of Atlanta and why did you want to come back to this team?
If I'm being honest, just being in the South is a lot better being up north in the cold. And Nezzy's a good player coach, takes care of the players. And he put a good team around me, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're very happy to have you. And right on the precipice of the regular season, you're named the next captain of the Glads. Take me through your emotions when that was announced, and how do you feel to be leading this group?
I was honored, honestly, because Nezzy was the last captain as well. And yeah, honestly, words can't even explain how pumped I was when he told me that. So, yeah.
How'd you find out?
Well, there was little murmurs that it might happen, but I wasn't too sure. And then when we were at practice, after one of the practices, the boys were kneeling down, and then he said the captains, and the boys were all tapping their sticks. It was pretty special.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty awesome for sure. And you mentioned Derek Nesbitt, Jacob. Just what's it been like to play under him? Of course, a first-year head coach alongside Eric Neely, who retires after this past season. Just what's that dynamic like? And of course, with the great start, I mean, couldn't have asked for anything better, huh?
Yeah, honestly, they're both awesome. They get it. They were both players. I played with both of them, so they really understand the game, and they're letting the boys play. No one's gripping their stick too tight, and it's showing. So it's all good.
Yeah, for sure. And let's backtrack to opening night, Steve. That is, our first official theme night for the Gladiators, of course, promoting the rival Savannah Ghost Pirates, and the Gladiators come out with the 6-3 win. A crowd, north of 5,500 fans at Gas South Arena. What was that like for you?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Obviously, a bunch of changes in the off season on the business side for us. So, whole new staff. Everybody's getting familiar with, with Gas South, with the fan base. I'm not sure if is it really a rivalry with Savannah if we keep winning every time?
I think it's 10-3 and 1-0. I believe the record is all time.
I don't know if that's a rivalry, but interstate squad, I guess. But no, it was great. I think one of my favorite things, one of the first things that I planned on doing when I got here was flipping the benches. And I think that made a big difference of having a packed crowd down there on the side that we shoot twice on. It was nice to get that new Lions Den feature going. We're still trying to fill that. So if you guys are interested in sitting with the rowdiest fans in the arena, get yourself some seats there with the Lions Den. But it was great to see that. We had almost every fan experience happen. So a lot of different schools were involved. Just a bunch of groups. We had a mom's group come out and do a high five tunnel there with the team. So a lot of new fans coming into the Gladiators fan universe, which is great.
And as we're approaching the middle of the season, of course, theme nights and more exciting things related to the Gladiators are forthcoming. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So first one that we got coming up is going to be the Georgia Tech game. So for everyone listening, we did just change the start time to 12:30 this coming Sunday, the November 5th. But this is something that we look to build as we continue to grow hockey here in Georgia. So these two teams, obviously, it's a pretty heavy rivalry in all the sports, being as close as they are. But Coach Roberts and Coach Camp have been working with us, and we've been doing everything we can to get as many students to come out and enjoy this game. And hopefully we continue to grow this. I think there's talks like next year we'll probably move this more towards February, so we continue to grow this with the student base. But it's exciting. They're playing in a bigger building, and this will probably be one of the biggest crowds that they play in for the whole season. So that game will take place right before the Gladiators. We've got our Education Day game that's going to be happening on November 14th. So we'll have a 10:30 a.m. puck drop, and we have over 2,000 students that are going to be coming in. We'll change everything to be much more like education based. We got Gobble Wobble night before Thanksgiving. That's the heaviest drinking night of the year, so I've been told. So we'll focus on that $5 beer promotion that we have. That'll be every Wednesday game that we have throughout the year. And then, I'd say the big one here before the turn of the new year is going to be our teddy bear toss, which will be on the 16th of December. Jacob, I'm sure you've been a part of a bunch of these type of games before, but that seems to be a huge crowd favorite. I think we had over 15,000 teddy bears that we were able to donate to several different organizations last year. So really excited. Obviously we've got some regular games that'll be happening throughout there as well. So we encourage everybody to come out and watch as much Gladiator hockey as possible.
And let's go back to the first game that you mentioned, and that's Georgia Day, of course, coming up this upcoming Sunday, November 5th. Jacob, my question for you is, for somebody who has had multiple stints here with Atlanta, how have you seen the game of hockey grow from the time you first got here up until now?
Well, I think that it's getting a little more popular. I mean, it's tough down south anywhere really for hockey. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's definitely growing down here. You can tell over at the ice forum and whatnot that it's definitely growing.
Yeah, for sure. And then Steve also mentions the teddy bear toss. I got a question. Steve and I were discussing it in the car prior to entering the studios. I need to know, Jacob, have you ever scored a teddy bear toss goal?
No, this is my year.
This is your year?
Shot called.
Yeah, there's high expectations after Reese Vitelli last year scored 51 seconds in to the teddy bear toss.
He'll probably
game.
do that again.
We didn't even have everybody in the building at the
I know.
time. Yeah, so hopefully we'll people at least be in their seats this year.
Yeah, for sure. I was still going through my opening monologue on the broadcast before I knew it. The puck was past the Cincinnati goaltender there. And again, we just talk about the theme nights in general. And Jacob, this is another fun question. When you're wearing those specialty jerseys, whether it's Marvel Night or, of course, Georgia Day, we'll be wearing our special. Oh,
We're wearing our alternate
yellow
we're
jerseys.
debuting our yellow jerseys. Georgia is actually going to be debuting their new alternate jersey as well, which I saw a picture of that yesterday. It looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Is there a competition with the boys, when we have those post-game auctions to see whose jersey sells the most? Or?
Yeah, like low man on the totem pole. I got to go drag the gear around or something.
The boys are definitely asking each other what they're sold for. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. It is what it is. I'm sure if someone gets in a fight that game, their jersey's going to go for a little more. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of competition with that.
Do you know what the most one of your jerseys has gone for?
One of mine?
Yeah.
Oh, probably $2. I don't know. Mine don't go for much.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's gone for a little bit more than that.
Yeah, we haven't had one with a C in two seasons, right?
Yeah, no, that's going to be very
Might be $4.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Doubling it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, on that note, Jacob, talking about being the captain of this group, obviously a very young Gladiators team. A lot of the veteran leadership from this past season no longer with the team. Just what's that like, being one of the veterans amidst, a group of rookies, essentially?
I really didn't realize how old I was until these guys came in and started saying the years they were born. And I looked over at Sly. I'm like, wait, I'm like the third oldest on the team here. And so it's definitely a little bit of a change, but they're all awesome kids. Like, they're all nice and they all work so hard. None of them are entitled. So yeah, we got a really good team.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think it's the rookies that have really been helping, forge this hot start for the Gladiators. And again, let's recap the regular season. We talked about Savannah and the excitement of night one, and you're able to get the victory in that game. But then you guys traveled to Allen, Texas for your first road trip of the season, a 6-3 win on a Saturday night, and then a 6-0 shutout on Sunday afternoon. Can you take me through that weekend?
Very good goaltending to start.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get there. No, I think we were really excited to get in there, and obviously we're going in there 1-0, but I think we wanted to show people what we got, and we're doing that. So going on the road and getting 4 points was huge.
And Steve, you were there this weekend in Allen. So how was your experience?
I did. I got to travel in, and I caught the Saturday game. So I was a little quiet in the crowd when it was 3-1, but there was myself and one season ticket holder also made the trip. So we were definitely the loudest people over there on the other side of the ice there to end the game. So it was awesome to see. Don't really expect, I think, 11 unanswered goals between the two games. So they have a great barn. It was a opening night for them. They did draw against the World Series on opening night, but I believe they had a sellout. So it was fun to go into enemy territory and actually get to be a fan at a game and watch what was going on.
Definitely a different change of pace for you. And again, on Sunday afternoon, Jacob, we'll get to the goaltending, but for you personally, the Glads had 3 shorthanded goals. They're one of 38 teams in ECHL history to do that in one game. And you could have made it 4 shorthanded goals. You had a penalty shot there. You put on a good move. That was a good save there by Perry.
I appreciate that. I didn't know what to do. I came back to the bench and I told them, I'm like, I don't have to take this, do I? Like, I could sub someone out to take this shot for me. They're all like, you're taking the shot. I'm like, uh-oh.
So did you just not know what move you were going to make until the moment? Or
I knew I was going to fake the shot and hopefully the goalie was going to bite a little bit harder. But yeah, I'm just not a penalty shot guy. It is what it is.
How often do you guys practice something like that?
We do shootouts a little bit, but yeah, not enough practice.
Okay. And then later in that game, Gustav's Grigals. I mean, that is one of the most insane saves I've seen since, of course, calling Gladiators games. First, your reaction, Jacob, from the bench.
From the bench, I had no idea where the puck was. I thought for sure it went in the net, but then their guy didn't celebrate. So then it was like, I still didn't understand. And then 15 seconds later, I'm like, wow, he saved that. And I thought it was like impossible. So that was crazy.
Yeah, you and me both. And Steve, were you on your way back at that point, or still in Texas? Where were you at?
I was still in Texas, but I was excited to see all over X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, social media, your extremely loud call of the save. And I think that also with the play and the call made its way onto Sports Center. I think it was number 6 on the top 10. So pretty cool for an ECHL team to make the mainstream media like that.
Well, you know what? I was calling that game remotely, and you know what? You got to generate your own excitement when you're calling it from the computer screen. And I could not believe it. Yeah, it was definitely a crazy moment.
Liam will be joining you guys on the road for most of the closer trips, but when he, Texas, or when you guys go to Troyes or whatever, he calls from home, and he actually throws the suit on inside the apartment and gets in the zone and makes the call from the kitchen table.
And that's no hyperbole. I do.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? You got to be in the element, right?
Yeah,
you know,
you.
And you know what? If you look good, you feel good, and you call a game well.
Go.
So that's just kind of where I was at with that, but I'm definitely excited to be joining you guys on the road for select games this year. But going back to Gustav's Grigals' save, I texted Nezzy, and I texted you as well, the Sports Center top 10 highlight. You said the boys have seen it. Nezzy said that you guys were in the restaurant together, all seeing it together.
Oh,
it was a little bit of a spur of the moment thing. Take me through that.
Yeah, we're all just sitting there watching the top 10, and then on come the Gladiators, and we were all freaking out. Goose wasn't there at the restaurant with us. Yeah, we would have lost a little more, but yeah, we were all celebrating pretty hard in that restaurant.
Were you guys like hoping, like were you watching Sports Center, like waiting on the top 10, or it just popped up on the TV?
I mean, you rarely see ECHL top 10, so no, we were not looking for it.
And when did you see it on ESPN, Steve?
I woke up on Monday morning after getting in very late, and I think you had texted into the office group chat. So, but no, that was
immediately.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing to wake up to and see. So, I think we made it on ESPN for the Blues Clues jersey last year. And then obviously Anson helps us out being on like TNT and things like that. So, but always awesome for us to get some national notoriety.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me personally, when I saw the top 10 save, I couldn't believe it. It was very good to see the Gladiators on that platform. But Jacob, going back just to the season thus far overall, I mean, you combine Gustav Grigals' save, the start that you guys have had 4-0-0, the 4 shorthanded goals up to this point. I mean, you've had an established career. Have you ever really seen a start like this? I mean, there's so many, different variables to this team as to why they're having so much success. And I just want to know, just from the player's perspective, what you see.
Yeah, I mean, personally, no, I have not seen a start like this. It's definitely nice, but we are only 4 games in, so don't want to get complacent, obviously. And we still got to keep playing the right way. I mean, we have all the pieces of the puzzle, and it's just when some guys get called up, when that happens, I think we have other guys to fill those roles. So we're looking good, but definitely don't want to get complacent.
We touched on Nezi a little bit earlier. I mean, just how do the boys feel about this torrid start and about how Nezi has been able to implement his coaching style alongside Eric Neely? Just what's that been like? And are you a little bit surprised that, it's been such a seamless transition for a brand new coach?
Well, no, I think they both love the game. So, Nezi's always talking the game. He loves talking about it. So, I mean, it's no surprise to me that they're both great coaches. And it's also no surprise to me that we're having a good start. I mean, everyone's buying in.
For sure. And I'm going to save this question for the end. Jacob, take me through your fight last night against Mark Lewis, because for me, it seemed a little staged. You guys were squaring each other off there for quite a while.
Yeah. So we were up 2-0, and he asked me to fight. And I said, I made a deal. I said, if you guys come back and tie this game, I have no problem fighting, but I don't want to give you guys any momentum. So they got 2 quick ones. And then that's when I was like, I look back at Nezi, I'm like, I think I'm going to grab that big guy. And then I went out there, and he was out there for like 20 seconds. And he was like, I went up to him, and I was already committed at this point. He's like, I'm too tired. I'm like, all right, well, my gloves are off. So he took his gloves off. And then when we were standing there, I'm like, just take your breath. Like, if you're that tired, take your breath, and then we can fight. So that's why we stood there.
You threw your glove into like the 200 level. Like that was like way up there.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we went at it.
That's what's up. And then, after the fight was over, I saw a little sign of mutual respect, a little tap on the arm there.
I think he was happy that I let him get his breath. He was just saying thank you for that. I'm like, yeah. I think that's the thing with fighters. You do have that mutual respect. Obviously, you say what you're going to say, but at the end of the day, it's respect.
Yeah.
So, all right, quick question. Did you know the rule that you then got penalized 2 minutes for?
No, that's ridiculous. I can't read that rule book every year. The refs tried telling me that it's been a rule for a couple of years, but I swear I take my elbow pad off every fight. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, Jacob was given an extra 2 minutes there for taking off the elbow pad, which been a hockey fan for a long time. I don't know if I've ever heard that as the announcement
I don't
before.
see why that's a rule.
How did they come and explain that to you? Was you were sitting in the box, or
well, no, I
was at the end of the period.
It was
right?
at the end of the
sent
period.
off.
So yeah, the boys came in. I'm like, I forget. I think it was Sly that told me. He's like, yeah, they gave you an extra 2 for your elbow pad, and I'm like, oh wow. Did we kill the penalty? But we did, and I've learned my lesson, and I will keep it on.
And then the Glads had a flurry in that third period. We talk about starts that you haven't seen before in your career. Just take me through that third period. I mean, that was absolutely wild to call, I'm sure, to watch, but how was it to play?
I mean, I wasn't playing. I watched all those goals go in from the penalty box, which was crazy. But yeah, that was a crazy third. I have not seen anything like that. That was wild.
Yeah, a lot of goals in quick succession there, but the Gladiators come out with the 7-4 win. Exactly what you like to see. And before we end this episode of the Atlanta Gladiators podcast, let's take a look into the rest of this week, just opponent-wise. We have the Jacksonville Icemen on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. What makes Jacksonville so difficult to play against, going back to the last time that you were here? Obviously, a little bit of a different group, but again, that South Division mentality kind of goes from top to bottom.
I mean, it's tough to say because we haven't played. I watched a little bit of their film, but we haven't played them too much, or we haven't played them obviously yet. So I really don't know what to expect. I just know that we're going to come ready to go and want to keep our streak alive. And obviously, they're playing SoCo right now, and I think SoCo was up, so we'll see what happens. But if they go undefeated, we're definitely going to want to take another team down there. So
I think Jacob's got the game feed there on his
Yeah,
phone.
right
you
on
know.
Flow Sports.
Yes, sir.
Always watching, needs to keep an eye on what's going on in the South Division. And again, just on that note with the South Division, of course, you're so happy to be back with the Gladiators, but the South Division is known for being a very tough, physical division. And how do you think your presence is going to help this group of young guys when they go toe-to-toe against Jacksonville, South Carolina, Florida, and the rest of the division?
Well, we got some. I think we got some guys that can take care of themselves. Obviously, I'll help them out whenever and stick up for them, no matter what. But we got some big boys, and we got Cass Berry too. I mean, and all these young guys, they're in great shape too on our team. So I think we're good. I don't really need to do too much defending.
One last fun question for each of you. And we'll start with you, Steve. What's one thing that our fans wouldn't know about Steve Brown by listening to this podcast?
I'm the best terrible golfer that you will ever play golf with.
Gotcha. Haven't played golf with you yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
We'll get out on the links.
We'll get there. And Jacob, what about you?
I love my dogs. I love my 3 dogs.
What breed?
2 King Charles and a golden retriever.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man's best friend right
Yeah,
there.
they are.
Maybe we'll have King Charles races instead of the wiener dog races. I don't know.
I'll bring them out.
You got to get Otto out there,
Yeah.
Steve.
I've got a GSP and a mix, and that thing is the bane of my existence right now.
Steve, fun fact, Steve bought one of the brand new beanies at the Gladiators team store.
Mhm.
And Steve, do you want to explain what happened to the top of there?
I walked into the office and Liam was like, "Where did you get the beanie without a pom-pom?" And my dog ate the pom-pom off of it. So I have a one-of-a-kind Gladiators beanie that I have at home. So
Nice, personalized.
yeah.
That's fantastic. And Steve, just real quick before we end, do you want to explain to those listening where you can get tickets for our upcoming home games?
Yeah, absolutely. Biggest thing that we're pushing fans on is to be able to save on those pesky ticket fees when purchasing single game tickets. So, a family of 4 going to come out to 3 games. Really makes sense to hop on and get a flex pack. It's the most affordable way, helps save on parking and concession stands as well. So we had a lot of benefits in for people who are going to be committing and coming out to a bunch of games to watch Jacob and these guys continue the streak. So, but yeah, just go to atlantagladiators.com. There's a ticket tab, fill out an info request form, and a account executive will reach out and walk you through all the options, as well as anybody coming with a group of 10 or more. We have a lot of awesome fan experiences, locker room tours, photos down on the ice. We had a group last night that did slap shots. It was a church that came out. And we have our new ice boxes that are really great for entertaining a large group and being right there on the glass. So a lot of cool options and a lot of new stuff to come this year as well.
Well, Steve, Jacob, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of the Atlanta Gladiators podcast.
Thanks, Liam.
Thanks, Liam.
You can find the Atlanta Gladiators podcast wherever you get your podcasts or in video version on YouTube. We'll see you next time right here on the Atlanta Gladiators podcast.